How can you get insights from customers that will help your product launches and existing products without even PPC or the need to look at reviews? Today, we're going to talk about this seldom used strategy that can help you potentially more even than a lot of AI insights. How cool is that? Pretty cool, I think. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Serious Sellers Podcast by Helium 10. I'm your host, Bradley Sutton, and this is the show that's a completely BS-free, unscripted, and unrehearsed organic conversation about serious strategies for serious sellers of any level in the e-commerce world. I'm wearing my Mona Lisa shirt here because we have the Mona Lisa of Amazon. The goat here, Izabela Hamilton, back on the show for the first time in a couple years. We're not going to go too much into her backstory, guys. Let me just write this down, get a pen. You want to learn more about her backstory, go to either episode 75 or 326. Mel was kind enough to write that down, but just search those episodes. You're going to find all about her before the Amazon world and her backstory. But Izabela, we're here to catch up because it's been a couple years since we've sat down and had a conversation like this.
I love it. Okay. Oh my God. First of all, Bradley, one, I love you. Two, I've never been put in the same category with Mona Lisa. I mean, people did call me Marilyn Monroe, you know what I mean? But Mona Lisa.
That's another level there. Come on, we got to go higher than Marilyn.
That's a new one. And third, for those who want to know and see more, Helium 10 actually did a documentary on me and my life and, my, coming up.
I forgot about that.
Yep. People can find that on YouTube, and I love it. It's my pleasure and my honor to come back on your show, Bradley.
Yes, well, it's great to have you back. And in the first, if people do go to those older episodes, we were talking a lot about launches because of your company RankBell. And we're definitely going to talk a little bit about that today and like how things have changed in the Amazon world. But before then, just generally speaking, like there was a period of time where you weren't as active like in the Amazon ecosystem of things. So were you just taking some time off for yourself? Were you doing other things or how do you explain that gap where we weren't able to connect as much anymore?
I love it. The short answer is yes and yes. So yes, I was definitely taking some time for myself, but yes, I was also working on other things. But Bradley, besides just being entrepreneurs that we are, right? We are also human beings, and human beings go through different stages in their life. And as long as we listen to our bodies and we listen to what the universe has to tell us, we better listen, because otherwise it's going to force us into situations we don't want to get into, right? Like falling sick or, falling into depression or whatever that case may be. So for me, I had been in the Amazon space for so long, over a decade now. And there was a time, Bradley, you're right, about 2 years ago, where I just felt like my body just needed a rest. And there was a time where I was like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore, honestly. I don't know if I want to keep getting up and doing the same things over and over again. So what I did, I pulled back a little bit. I stopped going to events and stopped and looked to see who am I? But I really want those listeners that are here with us today to really understand that this is normal. And if you've never gone through that, it may come for you. We all go through it, Bradley. We all go through ups and downs. And if nobody talks about it and everybody just acts like everything is perfect all the time, this is where we get confused, because then we start thinking, oh my God, I am so unique in my ways that nobody could relate to me. Nobody could understand me. So it's important for those out there to know that it's okay. We have ups and downs, and it's completely okay. And with every level comes a new devil, right? And we just got to be ready and prepared for that. And yes, I went into this solitude and it has done me wonders. And I am fully back into my full energy. And I know you can feel it. And even if you're listening to this, I know you can sense it, because that's what I do. I had to go down for me to come back up and bring this magic and bring this energy that's now pouring into every single human that I meet. And we can do that. We can bring our best self without having to take that rest, Bradley.
How do you know when it might be time to take a rest? I mean, I think as entrepreneurs, all of us work and even thrive under pressure, stress, things like that. When you run your own business, of course, it's going to be stressful, but how do you know when's that point where like, okay, this is a little bit beyond what is normal. I need to just step back. It doesn't have to be for a year. It doesn't have to be for 6 months. It doesn't have to be for, 1 month. Like it's different for everybody. But how do you know when that trigger is?
That's such a great question, Bradley. And, we wear this badge so proudly, like, oh, we can run ourselves into the ground. And it's almost a race of who works harder, who works longer. But and it's almost like taking that time off, it's almost like guilt, like we can do this. So you will know, one, if you don't listen you may get sick, but you will see the flags, you will see the red flags there, they are there, and they will get louder and louder and louder. And it can be as simple as starting to get fatigued and starting to get tired and starting to see repetitive things that no longer give you that dopamine effect, right? Like the first sale you get from your Amazon sale, it's all exciting, but by the time you're at your 500th one, you're like, oh my God, yeah, this is great, but at what cost, at what price? So it's a matter of, just like you check your stock, how much stock you got in an Amazon warehouse, check in with yourself. What is my availability? How do I show up in the world? Is this job taking the life out of me, or is this something that still gives me light and pleasure?
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, you were at Prosper recently, and I see you active again on LinkedIn. And for those old school people, like I said, from the old days, might have remembered your company RankBell was mainly about rankings, right there in the name. And obviously, a few years ago, Amazon changed. I think the last episode we were on, we talked a little bit about those changes already. But I'm just looking at your like your header on LinkedIn right now, and you're talking about ranking. You're talking about ranking without PPC. You definitely want to hear about that. But so what are you all about these days? Is ranking still your main thing? And then if so, we'll talk a little bit about it. Have you pivoted at all in your business, kind of like what your specialty is?
What has transpired over the past few years since that happened is that actually brands are looking towards even more organic ways of actually bringing their products back to page one, but not in the way that's manipulated and it's like, okay, go search for this keyword and actually buy it, but from the perspective of the shoppers. And I think this has been a long time coming, Bradley. This has been like, ever since I've been on Amazon, I saw this a mile ahead, where brands are changing, shoppers are changing, and especially today with AI, shoppers are craving organic. And why
Mm-hmm.
is that? There's so many fake reviews, there's so much fake news, right? We don't want to go into politics, but everything is surrounded by what is real. So shoppers are craving authenticity. So yes, RankBell is still all about organic ranking, but more so, how are our customers actually helping determine if our product is worthy of page one? Because everybody can get you to page one. You can like utilize, you can use up all your credit card, you can maximize and put it all there and fight with your biggest competitors, and Amazon might put you first, but at what cost, Bradley? At what cost, right? So now what we're doing is, yes, we are able to figure out, by using obviously the tools that Helium 10 provides to us, which I love, by the way. We're almost able to predict in the future what our customers actually looking for, and is our product that we're helping put on page one, is it satisfactory enough to be on page one? And not only from the data points that Amazon requires, right, but more so, is the shopper aligned with your product? Because as I said, there's so many techniques out there that can get you on page one in 7 days. Let's be honest. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there's tools out there. I don't even know how many. But again, does Amazon, and more importantly, do your customers see your product as worthy of being there? So what we focus on right now, Bradley, is purely customer journey. And the way we do it, again, is just through pure intention. Does this product matches the category? Does we check everything from the listing to the images to the taste of your product? Think such a deep search, right? Because I'm thinking AI terms. Think of a deep search, but on your product, which nobody has access to just because of how platforms are created. Amazon, TikTok, whatnot. I mean, I could list 1,000 of them. The platform itself does not allow brands to contact shoppers. We can debate that all day long, why that is, but how do we actually understand our product if we are not our own audience? As experts, as brand owners, we see our product in a certain way, but we don't actually know. We don't really know until somebody tests the product and they tell you, this is what's good, this is what's wrong. And by the way, I would also love to see this new product coming from your brand line. Now you have a full, complete circle of not only you're ranking higher now because you're worthy of being there, but now you're getting everything you've ever wanted a shopper to tell you about the product, which now you can take and add into your listing. So it's a more holistic way of ranking your product, Bradley, and it's not a one-time thing. We do it month by month by month, and we have seen this. We have seen brands prosper. And if you're onto our LinkedIn, you'll see, and I haven't changed that recently, but we have generated close to $2 billion organically on Amazon without ads. And that is without spending a single penny on ads, all organic, all for the past 10 years. Tell me that is now working.
There we go. Hey, $2 billion. That's more than a couple bucks there. So does your activity and what you guys do to help somebody rank actually even start in the listing optimization process and before the listing is live, as opposed to like maybe in the old days, the way that people would use RankBell or services, and I've used RankBell in the old days as well, is like, all right, I launched, and now let me just go get a whole bunch of people to search, find, buy, or use two-step URLs. But are you having to start this process then earlier in the game?
Yes, you can. So for a brand that's even considering launching, let's say they chose the product, but they're actually not sure of how it will show up for these shoppers. So we can have our testers actually test the product before it even gets on any platform. Again, if the product is already on a platform such as TikTok or Amazon, it's easier. The customer journey is easier because then you can actually see where they drop off, Bradley, where in the journey shoppers are no longer interested in your product. So imagine if you're able to do that without spending thousands and thousands of dollars and years and suffering and pain. If we can cut that right from the start, that's amazing. Like we just recently, I went to Kevin King, shout out to Kevin King, to the Market Masters, and what he did there was such a cool concept where he had all these hot seats. The brands sit in the chair, and a few of us experts would give them a recommendation on their brand. But what I've seen in that room, Bradley, and a lot of brand owners just started tearing up because they had poured in thousands of dollars with something they could have figured out in half an hour without having to spend $50,000, right? So this is what we're trying to do at RankBell. Yes, the ranking is cool. We love it. Everybody loves it. You get to page one, you start making money. But again, this can only go for so long if your product is not what the audience wants right now. So if we can figure that out before you even launch, that's a money saver right there. And then once they're on the platform, let's say they're on a new platform that you might not know anything about, this is where we can come in and guide you and say, hey, your listing is not approved. And yeah, it looks okay, but compared to all your competitors, you are going to stand no chance. Because again, Bradley, we can get you to page one, but what's the point if nobody's going to click on your product and buy it? And this only shoppers can tell you that. I can tell you that. You can tell them we're all experts. We can all put our 2 cents. But in the end, it doesn't matter. It's just words in the wind. What really matters is, am I marketing to the right audience? Is the right audience receptive to what I have to sell? And then you go into the details. Is my pricing competitive? Do the images actually make sense? Am I in the right category?
How can you get more buyers to leave you Amazon product reviews? By following up with them in a way that's compliant with Amazon terms of service. You can use Helium 10 follow-up in order to automatically send out Amazon's request a review emails to any customers you want. Not just that, but you can specify when they get the message and even filter out people that you don't want to get that message, such as people who have asked for refunds or maybe ones that you gave discounts to. For more information, visit h10.me/follow-up. You can sign up for a free account, or you can sign up for a platinum plan and get 10% off for life by using the discount code SSP10.
So then what's an example? I mean, obviously, I know most of your customers don't want their product being shown. So just say as much as you can. But like somebody who either a brand new one or an existing person kind of like re-optimizing what they're doing, and something that you discovered in this phase, again, you can be as specific as you want, or as vague, or change names or change keywords or whatever, but what is something that they probably wouldn't have found out if they didn't go through this process? And then what was the results? Like we can only guess at like how much money maybe they could have lost, or if it was an existing product, who knows, maybe it's how much they were able to gain, but illustrate the importance of this through an example.
You got it. And I have the perfect example because this just happened to us. So this client of mine has one of those like anti-aging red light mask. It's a few $100s and really good ones. Like he sent me one. I tested it. My sister has it. He's using it. His wife is using it. Everybody's using it. Product bomb. Amazing. They kept getting 1-star reviews, and they're like, okay, the competition can only like mess with you so long, right? Like, no, we really have to look into what is wrong with our product. So we had we had him go through our customer journey. We had a few hundred people actually test this product. Yes, a few hundred, because we couldn't figure out. The answers keep coming back, no, this is great, until we realize what the problem is. So when you plugged in the mask to charge, there was no light coming on. So people assumed that the mask, it was broken, it didn't work. But the problem was the Chinese sellers that created this almost reversed it, right? So if the mask was fully charged, it was the red light was on. If it wasn't charged, it was off. So it was almost like a switch. Like for us, it's common sense, but people assumed that the mask, because they paid so much money, they paid a few $100s, they automatically thought because they're plugging it in and it's not lighting up, that means something is wrong with the mask. So they would return it and they would give a 1-star. So all they had, it was such a luckily, it was such a simple thing that he didn't have to pull all the stock off. But all we did, we changed in the listing just a little bit, saying, hey, by the way, when you plug this in, expect this, don't expect this. So it was just a matter of rephrasing, because now, and of course, eventually they actually changed the settings where it was like the normal way. But just that simple thing has, when they started with us, like they were at like 2 point something stars. And imagine for an electrical product that also cost a few $100s, they were basically dead. They were done. They were like out of business, right? So what happened now that they restored that, they're at, I think they're at 4.0 right now, and they're growing, and they went from like 20,000 a month to like 50,000 to 70,000 to, and they're on their way up, because again, the product is really good. But it was, and this was the first time this happened to me where I couldn't figure out, you know what I mean? Like I got it, I followed the instruction, I thought it was cool, I thought it worked, but it was just that one little simple thing that really messed everything up.
What role? Like, how did you get that?
So
I'm assuming it wasn't clear from the reviews.
I didn't get that, and the reviews clearly said that this product sucks. So the shoppers that went through our campaign, basically what they do, they buy the product, whether it's on Amazon and TikTok. We want them to go through that journey of again, where does the product fall off? Why would you buy it? Why would you not? And eventually the second part, which is the physical testing of it. And a few people just realized that, hey, when I plug this in, the light doesn't turn on, or whatever the case may be, and they kept reporting this to us. So out of, all these hundreds of people, we had a pretty large number that realized the same exact problem for each one. So you want to get ahead of this problem before your product is even on Amazon. But if it's already on Amazon and is dealing with this, that's also fine. But again, I wouldn't have been able to tell you if they wouldn't have gone through our program and actually have real testers who have bought masks in the past, who know how this product works exactly, that were telling us, hey, your electrical thing is messed up. You might need to change that. You might need to switch it. So it can be just as simple as that, or it can be as like, your product burns my skin, you need to pull that thing off. Because what we're doing, Bradley, we're testing it with a small sample. Even if we do a campaign of 500 shoppers, that's nothing compared to a search volume of 500,000 people, right? We want to make sure that this 10% that we're testing with, they're telling us whatever it is that the rest of hundreds of thousands of people want. We don't want it to get to that point where everybody's buying it, right? Because now you're on page one, but if everybody buys it, but the product is not worthy of being there, you are going to die. Your product will be dead. You're going to get 1 stars. You're going to return it to Amazon. Amazon is going to say adios, and that's the end of your product. So how do we catch that before it happens? 1, and 2, how do we improve it based on your perfect avatar once? And that's what we do. We curate the audience specifically to your product, whether it's a beauty and wellness product, whether it's a grocery product, whether it is an ailment product, whatever the case may be. We're with you, the brand. We're helping you figure out who your audience is. We market to them. We have them go through our program, and they tell us exactly what they think about your product. And as a side benefit, on different platforms, you may get this ranking boost that eventually is just literally the cherry on top. And we have created magic, Bradley. When I say magic, pure magic.
I think that so many people are misled today, where they think that shopping experience is really different now than before completely. And then the shopping will always adapt a little bit, but the main way that people interact with products and listings is still the same. Like there's all these new AI things. To me, doesn't change anything. I don't do anything different because of Rufus or any of these other things. Why? Because the things that it's based on are still the same best practices that you should have been doing in 2019, 2020. Like you should never just throw keywords in a listing and hope that it does good. No, you got to be talking about the pain point. That's kind of like what you're talking about here is like, you didn't mention AI once. And the reason why is because it's not about AI at the end of the day. It's about the customer. Like Amazon always does stuff based on the customer. And could maybe the root, like if the reviews started saying this exact problem, could Rufus or other AI things on Amazon could have picked it? It could be, but it didn't. But why were you successful? Again, not because of AI, but because you go and think about who is your end user, which is the customer who's dealing with the product, and find out what issue they're having with it or what they like about it. And so I really appreciate that. That was the way you talk about it.
One way that I would recommend brands use AI is maybe get this shopper journey. Let's say you get 500 shoppers tell you everything about your product, and run that through an AI and say, hey, give me 10 positive things somebody said about my product, 10 negative things somebody said about my product. And then based on that, like utilize it for that. On the Rufus part, I agree with you. And I think the more and more people start hearing about AI, they're going to, despite of it, Bradley, they're going to love even more the fact that things are organic, the fact that they see actual shoppers typing in, this product sucks, or this product is great. I mean, it's cool that, like, I was doing something on my Amazon listing today and Rufus popped up. I was like, I immediately closed it. I was like, this bugged me. Like immediately I got annoyed. And not for any other reason, but it's like, it doesn't have a place. And I understand why Amazon does it. And will it ever be cool in the future? Honestly, I don't know. What I do know is that we need to stop looking for the shiny object. As an entrepreneurs, we have that tendency. And you'll see people like, oh my God, let me do your listing with AI and this and this. Listen to your customers. It's like when you're in a relationship and the woman tells you exactly what she wants. Bradley, I want you to take me to dinner and I want you to take me to a movie. And you're like, I have no idea what to do with you. And she's like, I literally told you. Same thing. Listen to your customers. You don't need to get all fancy. You don't need to you don't even got to use RankBell. Audit your own listing periodically. Audit the other listings periodically. Use ChatGPT. Use these tools that are given to you for almost free, $20 a month, and use that. Analyze it with AI, but be wary of what the customer wants and do polls. Go out in the world. Take your product to the bar. Take your product to the movie. And when people come there, what do you think of this? Tell me the honest truth. And put in work. Stop acting like the world owes you a favor and it should all revolve around you. No, if you want your brand to get to a point where it's 7, 8, 9 figures, which I know you can because you're all listening to Bradley's podcast right now. And I know you're tapped in and I know you want to evolve. Get your booty off the chair and do the right things. And I promise you, it will work out. Stop waiting for AI to fix your problem. Use AI. Use all the tools that you have.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's super important. Like, we don't know what the future is going to hold and what kind of buyer behavior will change. Like I know searching on Google has changed, but to me, because of AI, like, you search and you look at AI summaries now instead of maybe results. But to me, the shopping is different. Like if I know that I want a blue water bottle, there is nothing that is going to make me change the way that I shop by going to Amazon and typing in blue water bottle. That's like, you can't, like anything AI just makes it worse. Like you said, you're like, no, get away from me. Like let me minimize this. It's positive. But let's say that you don't know you want a blue water bottle and you have a problem. Like, hey, I work at a job site all day outside. By the time it's lunchtime, my water, is lukewarm or something like that. Like, what are things I do? I don't go to Amazon with that. I go to like Google or something to like, read a blog or something like that. Now, in my mind, that is where Amazon eventually could change things. Like instead of going to Google first, figure out what you need, and then now you know what you need in a keyword, now you go to Amazon. Who knows? Maybe the search would actually start on Amazon and you can have those kind of like Google-like searches. Who knows? But for now, if you know what you want, which is like, I don't know, I'm just going to make up a number, 80% of customers who go on Amazon is not just there to use it like TikTok. Let me just scroll through. And, I go to Amazon because I need to buy something, right? Like that's why I think it's going to be a lot longer before we see changes of AI. Now, what else? What has changed? Like we just talked about, general buyer behavior has not changed. What's important in an Amazon listing has not changed. The general sense of Amazon advertising, kind of the same. There's a lot of new bells and whistles and features and metrics and programs and stuff. But what in the last 2-3 years has changed where you're actually doing something different, maybe for your customers or for yourself, than what you did in the quote unquote old days?
Yeah, I think going back to your research on products, I wanna touch on that a little bit. We know that with Amazon, people come in with intent. Right? They come to Amazon to shop. When they go on Google, they shop, but they're also looking for other information, like maybe the temperature, maybe I'm in Colorado versus San Diego. So there's a lot more time that's being spent on Google, which I would even go the distance to say Google has now really become ChatGPT. Like I ChatGPT everything. I don't even go to Google anymore because ChatGPT just kind of collapses time for me. And instead of me going through 10 listings on Google, ChatGPT gives me the best one based on the prompt that I give it. So, when it comes to Amazon, as long as we remember that we have the most powerful platform, Bradley, even TikTok, and I know TikTok is a big subject, and even I mentioned it a few times. TikTok's intent is entertainment. Let's not forget. You're entertained, and once in a while, you may see a video and you're like, oh my God, this will look so cool. And then you buy, right? So TikTok is not even there as far as power of shops. So when we go back to Amazon, if we know again that people's intent is to buy, there's no tricks and tips that I will give you beside make sure that you have a clean house, right? Make sure that when these shoppers who have no idea who you are, that they're buying from you. And I always say this, Bradley, Amazon, fortunately and unfortunately, is not loyal to brands. Fortunately, because now you, as a brand listening to this, you have a chance. Unfortunately, for NutriCost and all the other brands, unless you're literally typing NutriCost, then you're nothing, right? If somebody, a new player comes in and they have the perfect listing, perfect images, they have a good handful of reviews. And by the way, for those listening, few years ago, me and you, Bradley, we would have a conversation. You would need to have 5, 10,000 reviews to even be considered. Now things have changed. This is one thing that I noticed that has changed, which is great news, by the way, everyone, is that now if you show up organically, because people are smart, they see the sponsored ads line, people know what sponsored means. But right below that, if you're in that first organic spot, and even second, third, fourth, that's all right. But you're showing up there organically and you have even a handful of reviews, Bradley. If you have anywhere between 50 to 100, you are literally in the running with the people, with the brands such as NutriCost, such as Rise Mushroom Coffee, such as, right? Because now people understand that they only need a handful of social proof for them to make a decision. They no longer care to see 10, 20, 30,000 reviews because they understand understand. They're not dumb. They know some of them may be fake, some of them may be this. But imagine a beautiful brand is on the first positions, beautiful colors. It reads exactly what it does. You have 50, 70 reviews. You're 4.5 star, not even 5 star. You have a handful of reviews. You will win every single time, Bradley. So if anything changed, is this simplicity over everything. Have a beautiful listing, have good reviews, have a good product. Ding, ding, ding. Have a really good product. And I guarantee you, you will win this game. And never give up, because once you give up, then you're out of the game.
All right, last tips and tricks. You can like a 30 or 60-second one. Something about listing, something about ranking, advertising, anything at all. 30 or 60-second tip that you can share with the audience.
I think, I shared a little bit of this before, and I would say I would really, really consider and urge you guys to really audit your own listings, go through all the reviews, go through the competitors' reviews. I'm telling you things that you can do for free today, right? You don't have to enlist any other agencies. Stop going for the shiny object and really look into your product. Like, truly sit with it and say, is this something I would want to buy? Because we're all so compelled into putting ourselves into an expert mind. But I would urge you to put yourself into your own shopper's mind and say, would I buy this supplement? Is this something that actually does well for my being? And if it's not, if I have to change to a manufacturer and it's going to cost me a penny or two more, really consider doing this, because we are building now brands to last lifetimes. We're no longer trying to just quickly run up the numbers so we can pass this on to an aggregator, but really we are building brands. So pull back the curtain a little bit, and it may be painful, and it may take a while for you to get used to this, but really all I'm offering here is like simplicity. Like, audit your listing, check the reviews, check the other competitors, and see what else people are doing, and don't sleep on learning and on tools, and keep up with the daily life, and keep hanging on there.
Speaking of tools, favorite Helium 10 tool, like which one in the suite?
My mind has not changed. I am still a big Cerebro fan, because it literally predicts what is going do to be in your favor. If you're able to pair that with keyword strategies and listing optimization and checking on your product, like, this will always put you ahead of the game. It's literally like a psychic reading, which I'm all about. So if there, I mean, I love all your tools, Bradley, but Cerebro, like, don't sleep on it, guys, especially if you are trying to get to that favorable position onto the search query of Amazon.
Love it. Now, if I were to give you the like keys to our product roadmap, what is something that we don't have necessarily, like a function or a small feature? Maybe it's just something as small as like a filter that we don't have that could make your life easier.
Ooh.
I know it's hard because we have almost everything, but what would you do?
I love this. And I love that Helium 10 is always willing to listen to the customers, right? This is exactly what this whole episode was about, customers. So I think what for me and what I do with my brands, I would love to see a customer journey mapping, right? Like, I would love to see how, somebody goes onto the list. And because you're right, you do have everything, but what you don't have, which, may be a little difficult, but is, how do customers interact with your listing? Like, where do they drop off? When do they come back? Because this is something that this is what I do, but I do it manually, Bradley, and I know what it takes. But imagine pairing this with everything Helium 10 already does. You would have a no-brainer. Like, nobody will ever leave Helium 10, because now you know how to get to page one. You are tracking the competitor's keyword, including yours, right? Competitor research, product research. But what we don't have is this portion of, what do customers want and where do they drop off, and are some areas of United States more dropping off because on weather or because on this. Like, what I would love to see this done, and I don't know how possible it is to be done, but if you ever create it, I'm telling you, like, I will never log off of Helium 10. Let's put it this way. I already spent so much time on it, but that will be a no-brainer for me.
How can people reach out to you, find you on the interwebs? They want to get help with ranking or anything else you guys do over there?
RankBell.com, RankBell.com. Or you can shoot me an email at bell, BELL, at RankBell.com. And you can find me on socials. My name is spelled Izabela, Izabela. It's just Z and one L. I know autocorrect always puts a double L, but my mom only gave me one L. So sorry, guys. We got to go with this one. But yeah, I'm pretty much everywhere. And I'm just so happy to be back into, like you say, into the public's eye. Sending you so much love, Bradley, and to all the listeners. I'm sending you a warm hug to all of you. And may you have so many sales that you don't know what to do with it.
That's the goal. I love it. All right. We'll see you later.